Hello, my dear children. How are you all? Hope you all are fine, hale and hearty. Beta, I welcome you all to your civics class. In the previous class, we read about federalism. We also read about how federalism is practiced in India. I think in that class we discussed about the linguistic states which were there, the formation of these states on the basis of the ethnicity. Then we also read about the language policy, where there is no official language in the country. We also read about the center-state relations. In that center-state relations, we read that how before 1990, center government was acting as a dictator because they were having monopoly over the powers that was there. But after 1990, when the coalition government came into being, after that this monopoly was broken, and by the order of Supreme Court, the Supreme Court stated that central government cannot dismiss any of the state government. I hope, children, all this is clear to all of you. Now in this class we'll be reading about the decentralization. Now children, you must be wondering that what is decentralization? Decentralization is basically dividing the power into the state, center and the local government that we have. Children, in this section of your chapter, we will be reading about how after the constitutional amendment of 1992, the powers were taken from the state government and given to the local governments. Children, as you can see in this flowchart, decentralization in India, Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 and local self-government. Now children, in these two parts of decentralization in India, we'll be reading that how after the Constitutional Amendment of 1992, it became mandatory for having regular elections for the local government. Then a separate election commission was made for conducting the elections for the local self-government in the name of State Election Commission. Then it was said that seats will be reserved for women and SC/ST. 1/3 of these seats will be reserved in the local government for women, SCs and STs. Then the share of the revenue that state was getting, it was to be shared by the local government as well for undertaking the development programs. Now after this provision, some powers of the state were given to the local government, as I told you. Now coming to the situation before the constitutional amendment, all these provisions that are written over here, these provisions were not there before this constitutional amendment, and after this amendment the position of the local government became much better than earlier. Now children, the detailing you can read in your book. It is given in a very simple language. Now I will come to the local self-government. Children, when we talk of the local self-government, we see that local self-government is divided into two parts. One is the rural level, which is called as panchayats, and one is at the urban level, that is called as municipal corporations or committees. Now children, talking about the rural level governments, that is the panchayats. We all know that the village panchayat is the first level of the panchayat, which is also called as the village panchayat. Now the main organs of the village panchayats are the Gram Sabha, the Gram Panchayat and the Nyay Panchayat. I hope you all remember, you people have read about this in your class 6th. Now Gram Sabha is the basic unit which comprises of all the registered voters in the panchayat area. Each Gram Sabha meets at least twice a year. It is mandatory, they have to meet twice a year. The Gram Sabha also elects the members of Gram Panchayat, and every village with a population of at least 500 people has a Gram Panchayat. It has one Pradhan who is known as Sarpanch. The Gram Panchayat works for the development of agriculture and cottage industries in villages. It also works under the control of Gram Sabha. The Nyay Panchayat settles the minor disputes of the villagers. Now the sources for the income the sources of income are taxes from the land and cattle, the taxes from the sale of goods in fairs, and the grants from the state government. I hope this village panchayat part is clear to you. Now coming to the block level. Block level comprises of the panchayat samiti. The block level of local government is known as panchayat samiti, which consists of around 100 villages. Today in our country, India, we have around 5900 panchayat samitis, and its main function is to provide proper health care, safe drinking water, roads, good quality seeds and fertilizers and pesticides. Apart from all these functions, it also supervises the work of Gram Panchayat and examines its budget. The sources of the income for the Panchayat Samiti is also the same as that of the village Panchayat. Coming to the district level. District level has Zilla Parishad. This Zilla Parishad is the highest body under the Panchayati Raj Act at the rural level. The main functions which are performed by the Zilla Parishads are construction and maintenance of roads, bridges, parks, libraries, dispensaries and schools. It also supervises the works of Panchayat Samiti and the village Panchayat. Children, Zilla Parishad also advises the state government regarding the needs of the people living in a particular rural area. And the sources of the Zilla Parishad are share in the land revenue, the taxes, grants from the state government, funds given by the central government, and the income from the property of Zilla Parishad. Children, I hope this rural level government, all the three levels are understood to all of you. Now moving on to the urban level. See, the urban level local government is based on the criteria of population. The local government at the urban level is structured in the following manner. Now for the big cities, we have municipal corporations. For the cities having a population, municipalities, population between the 20,000 to 2 lakhs, we have the Nagar Palikas or the municipalities. And for the cities having a population of less than 20,000, we have the Nagar Panchayat. Children, the main functions of the municipalities under urban local governments are to provide hospitals, dispensaries, vaccinations, garbage disposal, controlling adulteration of milk and other eatables, regular supply of water, electricity, maintenance of roads, markets, keeping birth and death records, etc. Now the sources of the income for the urban local government is income from property tax, road tax, theatre tax, entertainment tax, etc. Then the charges on the water, electricity, toll tax and the octroi duties which are there. Now income from shopping centers and markets is also part of the income of the local government. This system of local self-government in India is the largest experiment in democracy conducted anywhere in the world. Children, if you look at this, you will find, today we have more than 36 lakh elected representatives in the panchayats and the municipalities all over the country. And this is the higher figure than the population in many countries of the world. The constitutional status which was given by the 73rd and the 74th Constitutional Amendment Bill has taken democracy to the grassroots level of the country. It has also successfully increased the women representation and participation in the local bodies. If you see, in today's time, there is more participation of women than the men in the local governments, especially when you come to the rural level. Children, there are several hurdles which are faced by the local self-government in its working. Now, what are these hurdles or what are these problems that the local government faces? It is the first hurdle is that the state government has failed to transfer significant powers to the local governments. Though constitutionally it is mandatory that they have to give them powers, but then it is not being practiced. Then local governments, they do not have adequate resources. They lack adequate resources for undertaking the maintenance and everything of the local government. Now we still, if you look at this, we still have to cover a long way, because Mahatma Gandhi, he dreamt of an ideal local self government, because Gandhiji believed that when the root levels are strong, then only the country can become stronger.